So basically, it started off with a call by Pradeep when he called to tell the monsoon is coming and let's do something around the monsoon.
Initially, the thought was to kind of document monsoon. And then we said, so what is the best way to represent monsoon? Then we thought about frogs, and we saw there's nothing better species to represent monsoon than so many frogs in the Western Ghats.
And between 2014, 2012, 2010, a lot of papers have been published with new species being discovered. And we were quite surprised. We're like, we're like 200 kilometers away, and to hear that there's a new species, it really struck us.
And also, there are so many misconceptions about the discovery also. People thought, there are new species being discovered, and frogs are doing much better than before. It's definitely a misconception, because new frogs were being discovered at the same time. There were a lot of frogs which were facing lot more threats than ever before. So I think we wanted to kind of bring that in the film as well. We started meeting people one by one when we started talking to them, and realized, oh, there are so many common people trying to do such wonderful work and even discovering a new species altogether. I think that's how we kind of thought, we should do a film on frogs. There were very less people who were talking about frogs. So which we wanted to, we didn't wanted to talk or do a film on something that's been done by many people. And at the same time, we can't take up such, really rare species, which is really hard to film, which because we didn't have the funds and resources to do it.
We actually had absolutely no funds
Yeah, yeah.
with, difficulties to get into national parks, permissions, all of that. We realized that, frogs are more accessible for us, as filmmakers, first time filmmakers.
Exactly.
Getting, permission to film a tiger is way more difficult than getting permission to film a frog. And what we did was, we had access to a drone. We had some previous footage. Then we went to Pradeep's place, which is lush green. It's in the Ghats and all of that. And we went about trying to get some shots of a frog. And we got some shots of the landscape where we're shooting this film. And we put all of these together, and we made a small pitch film.
10 ಗಂಟೆ ಮನೆ ಬರೋದು. ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲ ಬೈತಿದ್ರು, ಏನತ್ತಮ್ಮ ಇದು ಏನು ಏನಿದು ಮುಳ್ಳು ಇಲ್ಲಮ್ಮ ಏನೋ ಒಂಥರ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
And we had one main impactful shot. Pitch film that we did, which we then sent to our friends, families, whoever we knew. We asked them for some initial seed fund. That time crowdfunding was quite big.
Then when we released our pitch video and when we put our crowdfunding campaign, so many people came forward and funded us, which was quite fascinating and quite surprising for us, and a great confidence boost in a way that people would want to fund something like this, and which kind of made us believe that people would want to see something like this. And when so many people fund, it's more like a reaffirmation for you that people will believe in your story, and you have the confidence of those people that you can, this is something that people would want to see.
I mean, we did get funds, but we didn't have enough funds for for tripods, cameras, drones, and all of that. And but then we did know a network of filmmakers, photographers. So whenever someone was not using the gear, we could borrow. Karthik, Kalyan, so many people helped us with equipment, and that was a huge cost that was not there for us.
And then once we got the equipment, so we started getting in touch with people, so whom the resource people who kind of had whom we needed the help to film, or to locate frogs, or to kind of learn about the behaviors and things like that. Once we got in touch with them, finding a character was also I think the biggest challenge.
The microhyla was found bang in the middle of a town. Was just thriving away from the world's eyes, even though all the eyes were right there.
We met so many people, so we interviewed so many people.
ಫುಲ್ಲು ಖುಷಿ ಆಗೋಂಥರ ಅದು ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗಿರ್ಬಿಡಿ ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಈಗ ಬರೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಒಂಥರ ಭಾಳ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Every step of the way we faced some challenge.
We were trying to shoot this microhyla laterite, and that frog is just this much, the size of a nail. and we did not have the kind of know-how to shoot, something that is as small as as my nail. Yeah, we went to Manipal, and then we figured out that just 90 macro is not enough. Then we borrowed that 65 or something, which could magnify that, and we tried shooting that, but then that has such a shallow depth of field. We died
And most of these frogs we filmed have never been filmed before. So it was a lot of experiment.
because frog is this much, and then it has to sit there. By the time we focus, it's raining, it's night, it's middle of some field, and there's so many we have to light. There's so many insects that come, all of that, and by the time you sort of focus, the frog is gone, and then again where it just jumps into darkness.
Yeah.
Then again we have to ask,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, finding the frog. You have to ask Ramit, Vrinda, Sanjay, all of them. Oh, again, where is his latrite, which is this small? Our initial plan was to film some frog inside some bamboo.
Oh yeah, that's an Oklandra. So it stays inside a bamboo most of its life. And we had so many plans, we'll put another medical equipment where they used to.
Something we thought, but it didn't work. And also, I don't think we got access also. It was in some private estate.
Yeah, we did not get access also.
So we chucked that frog. And Kumbara we shot.
Kumbara.
Yeah. Kumbara we filmed for 2 years. First time we went, the level of the stream just went up so much that there was no Kumbara, no space for us to film, nothing.
And it was continuously pouring non-stop.
Just poured like buckets. So filming that. But then for a long time they were telling there's no rain, no activity, no rain, no activity. So do you take up another shoot because you want some money, you need to earn also, but then this is, I don't know, this is some weird thing that the minute you go take up a shoot because you need some money, that's when it'll rain. So again you're in dilemma. Both of us are
Non-stop.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
all the
oh
frogs are active
shit.
all of a sudden.
And then they'll call saying, where are you guys? The frogs are here, you guys are not there.
Yeah. That happened many times, which is one of the reason why it took such a long time for us to complete. And since it was not paid or not funded heavily, we were not in a position to hire someone and tell them to go and shoot. We just had to, leave that behavior or that sequence or something, and then probably hope to try and film next season.
Next season is basically next year.
Yeah.
In a year you have 2 months. In that 2 months, if it doesn't happen, then you have to wait for next year.
But I'm glad it took such long time, which is why we could film one of the very key sequence in the film, the bicolored frogs crossing the road, which is the first sequence that we thought of filming. A lot of these frogs gets killed by the vehicles passing by.
We saw a lot of these frogs. The legs were flat, so they were dragging themselves.
Quite emotional also if you see.
A lot of them half dead, gasping for breath. There's one particular time when this frog was so badly bruised and gasping for breath, we wondered whether, like, what to do. Like, we could not do anything about it. But then how do you get this out in the audience? Because for an audience, it requires, more impactful things. And that was the main reason why we wanted the large number of frogs.
We spoke to so many people, we interacted with so many researchers, on ground conservationists, and so many people, but nobody could really pinpoint the exact location where it happens, which was very key factor for us to try and film it.
But everyone agreed that, this happened.
Yeah, everybody agreed this happens. Most of the people we spoke to have seen it, but nobody could tell us this is exactly where it happens or this is when it happens, which was almost impossible for us to, try and film.
We had literally given up.
Yeah. But fortunately, almost I think the last day of the shoot, so we were coming back
No,
Yeah,
you're
the
going.
last day of the shoot, Allah.
We're going.
Yeah, we were going. Yeah, we were going to the location where we had to take Nike's interview, and that's when we happened to see this. I think most of the people who drive would, I would assume, that wouldn't look at frogs, something like a frog crossing the road. But I think we truly believe that if one person out of 10-20 people who see the film goes back and just be slightly more observant while being on the road, and if they see a frog or any animal for that matter and slow down, or at least try to wait for an animal to cross, I think that we definitely consider that as a great success.
Pradeep, Dheeraj interview, take one, cut. Very difficult for me to look at the empty camera and talk.
Now, from today, Dheeraj will never, be disappointed with people who are bad in front of camera, because now he knows, so much of people who are so bad.
Pradeep is quite big. He's a star on social media. So when he shared, I think we had more money coming in.